Well, break out the whiskey and grab your favorite screaming pillar, y'all. Trump is officially the president again, and his second inauguration was everything we've come to expect from the man. It was a rambling tribute to his own greatness, punctuated by vague and sweeping promises that inspire either throbbing freedom boners or suffocating existential dread, depending on how good your brain works. The whole thing was bookended by two very symbolic moments. First, legions of Trump faithful who made the pilgrimage to be there and honor their beloved Tater King in person were literally left out in the cold at the last minute when the man they've convinced themselves is their savior happily screwed them all over without a second's thought rather than face even a minor and temporary inconvenience himself. Devoted followers made to watch their big moment on a screen, while billionaire oligarchs who collect politicians like Pokemon were given front row seats in the warmth of the inner chamber. Pretty poetic. Trump started his speech by saying this is the beginning of an American golden age, and that might be true. You know, these might be golden years for America. Yeah, like, you know how like your papa's golden years were spent hollering a bunch of nonsensical and offensive shit while lashing out in futility at the inevitable finality of doom? Yeah, these could be those kind of golden years, you know? What I do know is all the MAGA people in your life loved this speech. They loved it. He said a bunch of stuff that sounds great if you're dumb and wrong about things, right? Like he said, this country doesn't work for regular people. It favors just a few bad actors at the expense of everyone else, and that's true. If you're talking about the billionaires bleeding regular people dry, praise Luigi, but he's not talking about that. He's talking about like phantom immigrants pooping in CVS's and making stir fry out of Shih Tzus and stuff, right? Like, it's all great if you don't care about things like making sense at all. Right? Like he said he was going to fix inflation, like it hasn't been under control for months now. But we all know that all these people who spent the last couple years acting like Joe Biden has got us all out here farming dust and standing in bread lines and shit, all those people are going to be jerking off Trump's booming economy by the end of this week. Like, making sense is over in this country. He said he would keep us out of any unnecessary wars. Also, we're going to invade Panama because that's what William McKinley would have wanted, or something. He said we're going to drill, baby, drill. So now when entire coastal communities sink into the encroaching ocean, at least they'll be part of the Gulf of America instead of Mexico. So that's nice. He spent the whole time framing himself as a dogged hero of the people. He said, I was saved by God to make America great again. Which, to be fair, that does sound like some shit God would do. I mean, we all know the good die young and hate will keep you going forever. So thanks for that one, God. All right. Yeah, the whole thing was terrible up until the very end. I said it was bookended by two symbolic moments. Well, when Trump's big closing tirade about how much he rules and America rules, and now that he's back, things are going to rule even harder than they've ever ruled before. When that moment was immediately followed by them all standing around in awkward silence as his staff failed to address a sound system issue that the stagehands in my son's middle school drama program could have fixed, I almost dared to dream again. Perhaps there is some joy left somewhere in this world. God help us all. I guess we'll see. All right. Yeah, like I said, YouTube, you just know that opinions are going to be divided on this here inauguration address. Of course they are, and that includes coming from the media. Let me show you what I mean.
All right, y'all, we're here on Ground News' website. They also have a mobile app and a Chrome extension. We're looking at some of the early coverage of Trump's inauguration speech. See here the excerpts: immigration, foreign wars, God, playing all the hits. You can see the coverage breakdown. 24 sources so far. That number's sure to go up. I'm here pretty early in the game. Most of them are from the left so far. If you take a look, if you use Ground News to sort by bias of the outlet, you look at left-leaning outlets, you can see how the way they frame their headlines kind of shapes the way you feel about the information. It says Trump rips into the country's past leaders and makes sweeping promises. Trump calls out the Biden administration. Trump promises unity, but can he deliver it? They're obviously showing some skepticism there and noting how Trump was a little adversarial. But if you look instead at right-leaning outlets, it's pretty different. President Trump humiliates Democrats with blistering open lines, destroys crooked Joe Biden and his dirty shadow regime. Wonder what side they're on. Wonder how they feel about it. But you can see they're feeling pretty pumped up over there on the right about this. And notice here, before you ever click an article on Ground News, you get all this extra information. You get the factuality rating of the outlet. You get the bias of the outlet. You get the ownership group where the money comes from. So much more information than you're going to get from anywhere else. That's why I like Ground News. Been working with them for more than a year now. They're a nonpartisan, independent service that's here to help you navigate the chaos of today's news cycle. So you can follow along at ground.news/Trey, or you can scan that QR code up there for more info. They got a lot of great features on Ground News. One of my favorites is the blind spot feature. This shows you articles that are not being covered on either side of the political spectrum right now. So it gives you a chance to step outside of your own bubble and see what the other side is going on about for once, something that I think we could all do a little bit more of these days.
So if that sounds good to you, scan that QR code or click the link in the description below, and you can try the Unlimited Access Advantage tier now for 40% off. That's $5 a month. Or you can try Ground News for free. That's right. Either way, it's time. Push back on the bias and BS. Check out Ground News today. All right, YouTube, man, we're back. Yeah, he said a bunch of things, too many things to even really cover, but none of it makes any goddamn sense when you think about stuff for a minute. Like he said, he's like, the pillars of our society are crumbling, and that is true. But him and his billionaire boat buddies are the ones holding the jackhammer, though. How do people not recognize that? He said that the public health system is failing, and that is true. But his solution is to privatize it and turn your health care over to corporations that very openly care more about saving dollars than saving lives. How do people not realize this? Right? He said he was going to take race and gender out of government before announcing his government's official stance on gender. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's all talking out of both sides of his mouth the whole time. Like even things that I've loved my whole life, I can't stand coming from this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like I've always wanted America to go to Mars, right? 'Cause I'm a space dork. I like that, But now knowing that the only reason we're doing it would be to make First Lady Elon a trillionaire, it just kind of takes some of the joy out of it for me, man. It just does. I can't help it. And it's like the only real upside I can find to this is that, like, if this regime does end up presiding over the final ragged breath of this husk of an empire, if they do, then that soundbite of Trump saying America's decline ends today, or as of today, America's decline is over. That soundbite is going to make one hell of a George Bush mission accomplished style receipt, y'all. So at least we got that. I don't know. I'm having trouble finding upsides. I'm not going to lie to you. Like I've realized lately that there are things that I've hated and thought were bad my whole life, I'm turning to as upsides now. That's how desperate I am for upsides and positivity. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, for example, my whole life I've been like, man, I can't stand Republicans. Republican politicians, they're all assholes. They can't work with nobody. They can't even work with each other. They can't get shit done. They don't ever do nothing. They just talk shit and stand around and be awful. That's all they do. Can't stand them. Right? But now, looking at what this administration would like to accomplish, I'm like, well, think about it like this. Like, Republican politicians, they're all assholes. Okay? They can't get along with nobody. They can't even work with each other. They don't ever get nothing done. All they do is just stand around and talk shit. So, maybe they won't actually accomplish very much. Maybe it'll be a good thing. My whole life, I've thought the state of American bureaucracy was out of control. It's like, man, the pace of government is just glacial in this country. Bureaucracy is so layered and deep rooted in our government that you just can't get anything done in a reasonable amount of time around here. And I've always lamented that and hated it. But now, looking at what the Trump administration wants to do in 4 years, I'm like, well, American bureaucracy is out of control. The pace of government is glacial, our bureaucracy is so layered and deep-rooted, you can't really get anything done in a reasonable amount of time. So maybe that is what will save us all. I'm turning to bureaucracy and Republican incompetence as my own personal saviors. And I don't know how I feel about that. Not great. That is, not particularly well. But anyway, who knows? We're just getting started. I'm not going to go off the deep end or nothing. I'm really not, though. I'm fine. I'll be here. I ain't going nowhere. I'll be around trying to make sense or at least make light or just shit all over this stuff. That's my plan. So if y'all stick around too, I appreciate it. I'm glad you're here. I put these little things up here. This is my special still. I do have a new one coming soon. I've been saying that for a while, but it really is coming soon. But you watch this one. Also, you can subscribe to the channel. You see all these videos and my podcast episodes and stuff like that. And the most important one to me, this is TreyCrowder.com. That's my website where I have tour dates. I'm a stand-up comedian, really. So if I'm coming near your town, you should come see me do stand-up comedy live and in person. It's a lot of fun. Either way, you keep watching these silly things and I'll keep making them. I love you like chicken. See you. Bye.